evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I am your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond. And listen, tonight, for you ladies, I have someone special who's going to talk to us tonight about wound care, skin care, all it is, how important it is. You know, I've been on this soapbox about how important it is that we get our not only just our mental health, but also our physically health and emotionally health. But some things that we have to do, basically, we might think that it's weird, but it's not weird because there are benefits. So tonight I have my special guest here, Misty Cassady of the Natural Skincare Chick, who
Hello.
is here with us tonight. So Misty, we get ready to dig right on into
Let's
this
do it.
subject. We get ready to dig right on in. Again, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight and just coming with us, sharing your wisdom, because I think it's so much important that we get ourselves in, especially us people of color. And I'm not being just, but I'm about my people of color are getting well and physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And again, as I said earlier, it's very important. Something that we think is off the base, wild off the base, but it actually has some benefits for our health. So, Misty, we're going to dig right on in with our first topic. We're going to be talking about wound care, V-steams, Yoni steams, all those different things that you want to be talking about here for women's health. So, Misty, can you give the audience the reverence of how special wound care is and how did this originate in practice and what led you to this?
Yeah, so wound care is extremely special because it is your most sacred space. It is the female reproductive system, right? And so it's been recognized for centuries as a crucial aspect of women's health and wellness. You have the Mayans, the Africans, you have culturally in China, Ayurvedic traditions. They all use these rituals and remedies to support the womb health. And so I am all about womb health. I began on my journey. I have been an herbalist for about 10 years, but my mother was a medicine woman. She was my first introduction to what a medicine woman really was. She was a cosmetologist by trade, but she was always mixing and making something: tinctures, conditioners, shampoos, you name it. She was making it. She was throwing herbs in it. She was mixing it. She was making me drink it, and my sister drank it. It was horrible. Um, but she was making herbal medicine. And so I think that during college, I sort of got away from it. She passed away about 15 years ago. And then when my daughter was starting to get older, I just started to naturally gravitate back to what my mother had showed me. And so I found specifically Yoni steaming about 10 years ago when I first got into really, really learning about the herbs and what they do for the body. Um, and so from there, I've just been using, again, Yoni steaming and different modalities and practices surrounding wound care to just heal my body and to help other women to heal their bodies as well.
You just said the one thing that you say about 10 years ago, and now we see it. We see it coming more fashionable now.
Yes.
You know, there's you can I actually had it done maybe like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, because I couldn't say before the pandemic. I had went to one of a friend of mine. She has a shop in Owens Mills, and we took the day there for self-care. And I can tell you that I felt so much better.
Wow.
I had some good rest that night. Not to say that all the time, but that specifically night, I had the best rest ever. And again, it's important when you talk about, see, look at that. You going back to what your mother gave to it. That's when you said this
Absolutely.
was passed down.
Absolutely.
I remember when we had to go outside at one of my aunts who would tell us to go pick these dandelions up in the things. If we get back to those, I mean, God give us the stuff here on earth.
Yes.
He gives us the stuff here on earth. It's nothing wrong. Or you're not saying, like you said, your mother was a medicine woman.
Yes.
She was a herbalist. not someone who's practicing witchcraft. Now, don't get me wrong, there could be people who out here who may do that, but your mother was a natural herbalist learning, and you learned the education at why. So I'm telling you, to the audience, again, I've been expressing this for over the past couple months. We got to get an open mind and we got to get awakened, because some of these practices, think about it, we couldn't afford doctors.
That's right.
We couldn't actually afford doctors. When the people would come to the house, he would give you that tincture in that brown bottle.
Yes.
And those are the things that are slowly coming back. But we know it's a big boxer out here for something else, because again, there's kickbacks on this stuff. And I'm not saying, let me put this disclaimer, I'm not against medicine, but I'm just saying some of these holistic practices can actually be interventions, because it can actually help us with fibromyalgia.
Yes.
And I'm going to let her talk about that a little bit later. It can help us regulate our pH balances, and which our pH balances can actually affect us emotionally as well. I'm just going to let Misty handle her. I'm going to say I learned something from her because I've got certified in it. So in a Yoni vaginal steam certification of it. So I took her course, and it has, So it's here on the shore, everyone. It's here on the shore. I'm just saying. But, so, and as you said, it's important as the womb is. It's because, again, it gives life.
Yeah.
It gives life. And it is important. Do you feel like it's important to connect with your feminine essence spiritually? Because again, when you connect with your spiritually essence, I also believe that there is a realm of creativity as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The womb is where creation is started. And so when we connect back to that creative part of us, all sorts of amazing things, I call it magic, happens. But we haven't been taught to create and connect to our feminine essence, right? We haven't been taught to take time out to just be with ourselves. And so I think what I teach, which is Yoni steaming, it sets aside time for a woman to do just that, to sit down and to just not only it does two things, that there's some physical aspects of it that it, detoxifies and clears the womb, but also it allows you time to connect. You can do a meditation, you can journal. It just allows you time to step away and get away and to just connect. And people do that connecting in different ways. There's no right or wrong answer. People connect, I call it your higher self, but people connect in different ways. I get away, I take an essential oil bath, and I just meditate. I ground myself to the earth. I go out back and take my shoes off. So people connect to their feminine essence or their higher self in many different ways. And again, we use different modalities to do just that. And Yoni steaming is just one of those ways that we connect. But it's absolutely imperative that we get back and connect, because just like you talked about a few minutes ago, you got big pharma does not want you to be well, because they make money when you're not well. And so if you're taking medicine and you're sick, you're not even thinking about connecting to your higher self.
Right. And you just said something too, I just want to reflect on this summer. So this summer I went to a retreat. It was a woman of excellence, and I'm gonna give her a shout out tonight to Miss Tavia Sumter. I actually was a speaker at this conference for that weekend, for that couple of days, and one of the facilitators came on a Saturday, and she gave excellent, which made me wake up to this. It gave me awake, and sometimes we have to get that. So she talked about how many of you with your cycles, and she talked about how she couldn't conceive. And she was actually from the Bahamas, and she was saying she would use certain herbs, and they actually use her for trauma too in the University of Florida. Wow. And she was saying, how many of you when your cycles, when your cycles, now you regulate this and that. And I was like, oh, I don't have to worry about, I don't have no cycles no more. And she turned right to me with a sharp, stern voice, and she said, and you're happy about that?
Oh, wow.
She says to me, she says, do you not know that you haven't even realized that you've been traumatized?
Yeah.
Your place, your sacred space where you have given life, you
Wow.
have traumatized your sacred space of life. Not only that, did you get the education on what to do, what not, what was the other thing? No, because the first thing it was telling me, you got to get this, you got to get this done, you got to get that done. And she said, now, if you was emotionally erect, you really don't know now if it was before your cycle now. You can't even tell now.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my
Wow.
God. And
Wow.
now I see that in a whole different perspective, a
Yeah.
whole different perspective. And that you can even talk about the spiritual stuff when you out here dibbling with whoever, you're taking on that, you're taking on that. So it does need some cleaning. You know what I'm saying? So it's people not understanding that there's a spiritual, physically, and emotionally realm in that sacred place. And we need to take
Absolutely.
charge. We need to take charge and be kinder with our, get back to connect with our sacred space.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of things will come into place.
Yeah. And just to speak to, the body that we've allowed into this space, we didn't know. We didn't know. I was raised by my mother, who was raised by her mother, and love them, but they were, for the most part, ignorant women when it came to a lot of things. And so thank God for them, but I also thank God for the wisdom that I'm receiving now. And again, the knowledge that we're gaining, and how things like clearing out your sacred space is starting to come back to this area now. And it's starting to become more popularized, where people are learning that, there are toxins everywhere. I've got to detox my body. I've got to detox my womb. I got to detox my mind. And also, I need to be conscious about the energies and frequencies that I allow in my space, whether it be my womb or just in my physical space,
Exactly. Well, listen, folks, I'm telling you, we got a great show here tonight. We ask you to go and tag someone. Go tag that female who might need a little bit of education tonight, because I trust you that there is some good information here for her. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back. Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond, and I am here with my special guest, Misty Cassady, here from Natural Health Chicks. Let me tell you something. She is the beast when we talking about natural skincare. We talking about physically of getting our personal space, which is our private area. Talking about the womb, which is a private area. I've been favored to take her course and have got certified in this. So I'm happy to have someone here, and I'm happy to push this among us, women, females, and even some men. If a man, you be watching this tonight, you gonna get some education, because you probably never heard it that way neither, just outside of what you want to see, but you're actually going to get in depth on how important it is about womb healing. So segueing way to our next question, Misty, when, as you say, we gave some ideas about when womb healing is, needed. So when is it needed the most? Can you give some examples of when womb healing is needed the most?
Yeah, there are going to be times where womb healing, I feel like, is needed the most. For instance, postpartum. After you have the baby, you definitely want to do a Yoni Steam to heal Use the herbs that'll heal the tissues, help to repair the tissues. After pregnancy loss, you want to do some wound care as well. If you're having menstrual health issues, you absolutely want to do a bee steam, or do again an essential oil bath, or some of those tea baths with the herbs that are going to be specifically targeted to what areas you're focusing on healing. If you're on a fertility journey, you absolutely want to do some steaming and healing. If you've got some trauma and emotional situations that have happened in your womb area, you definitely want to. If you are transitioning to menopause, I believe that is definitely a time where you want to do some womb healing. But even if those things haven't occurred, even if you're not at a place where you're transitioning to menopause, it's just something that you should build into your self-care routine on a regular basis.
And we've been telling this too on the show. Self-care is not all about getting your hair done, your nails
No.
done, or getting a massage. It's a whole wellness. It's a holistic, not with the H, but the holistic practices, mind, body, and soul. That is what we talking about, self-care. I hear people think about it all the time. Oh, I'm going to get my nails done and non-time pedicure and manicure. No, that's okay. That could be a central of it, but there's more. When we're talking about self-care, we're talking about the holistic realm of your bodies and mechanisms
Yeah.
that you need, and these modalities that we're bringing forth out. So that goes to the next question. Do you agree or disagree with holistic womb practices logic that the womb is a sacred place? And we already just talked about that. So I know you totally agree with that.
Absolutely. I agree. And just real quick to go back to the self-care thing. Oh my gosh. And I get the nails and your feet done and all of that, but it's so much deeper than that. I did a shecation this summer where I went away for 3 weeks alone. And it was the most liberating, but it was the best way for me to cultivate my self-care, because it was just myself and God. And I was just able to cleanse, let go of some things, cried. I got some insights, some intuitions. I came back with a whole new company that God had given me. I mean, when we say self-care, it's just about focusing on self. And it is okay to be selfish. So many times we as women, we're responsible for so many things, and we don't stop to just focus on ourselves. And so being a little bit more kinder to yourself. You used the word kind a few minutes ago. Being kinder to yourself, but also starting to focus on yourself. Them kids will be okay. Your spouse will be okay. You have to put your own oxygen mask on first. So I wanted to sort of speak on that. But in terms of your most sacred space, yes, it is. The womb it's where life is created, right? It is your connection to your feminine essence, like we talked about earlier. It's the symbol of birth and rebirth, and from that transformation occurring, cycles of life happening. For me, it is the seat of intuition and wisdom. It is the seat of my soul. So yes, I agree, it is your most sacred space. I've heard it said that it is a gateway between worlds, just depending on what you believe. But then I think that there's a more broader conversation that needs to happen when we talk about this sacred space, because it is the place where our feminine essence is housed. And I think that we have to start honoring this space more. We have to start acknowledging it for the femininity and the strength, the resilience, the nurturing, all of the things that make us these amazing women that some of us don't even know that we are. So yes, I do agree. It is your most sacred space, and for all of those reasons.
All right, Misty, as you speaking those words out there, you talking about, I think there needs to be more. You know what? I see a conference in that.
Let's do it. Let's go. Let's
Hey,
go.
hey, we can talk about that. I see a conference in that, because this is
Yeah.
another thing that the young lady said to me over the summertime, and I thought about this, and I've really been thinking about this, because what happened is my granddaughter started her cycle, right?
Oh, okay.
And she was screaming fanatic, and I'm like, oh my gosh, The lady said, in other countries, they celebrate that.
Yeah.
All the ladies of the village. So this will go back to bringing back the essence of the mothers, because again, we're in a world where it's just kids are bringing up themselves and the stuff is not being talked about to the
Right.
kids. You don't even hear it much being talked about the reproductive systems in schools anymore. But
Yeah.
where is the village? So she was saying in most countries, this is like celebrated. They have a ceremony.
Wow.
They don't teach it as being such a nasty thing. What do we get here in the States? Oh, that's a nasty, whatever. If we start doing those ceremonies with our young ladies.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
All of that part, it would be so much better, because again, it would bring that it's just it'll not be a traditional. It can be something that you're still bringing forth life. Let her know that you're bringing out life. And I think that could be the sync of the young ladies choosing, if we teach that and instill that into them, that this is sacred. This is your sacred place. And that you cannot have your sacred place disrupted by what you think in your emotions, because your emotions can fool you. Wow.
That is so powerful. That is so powerful. Oh, our babies would make better choices. Our girls they would make better choices.
I'm telling you, that thing rocked my world. It rocked my world when I went to this conference, and it rocked my world, and I still talk about it when I get a chance to talk about it. So I'm totally, and again, as you said, you're a person who acknowledges God. You went on a she vacation, just you and God alone. And that's what I'm saying. It takes some time for you to get that intuition. That's what he works with me like that during the middle of the night. People be like, God, you always got something coming up, because I follow the plan. Yeah. When I went to that conference, that stuck to me. That stuck into my root. And here it comes. 3 months later, I'm taking your course. Wow. Because that stuck to me. And you're here on tonight's show where this goes out massively, right? Yeah. So to get this connection, that's the question that I have. When are we gonna get back to these foundational things when it comes to our healing? That is a healing process. We have a lot of young ladies who don't even know what to do. And this is why they're from here, they're from there, because we have to educate them. We have to educate them. And I think if we start doing more of those ceremonies.
Yeah.
Now let me go back to that. Church, where's the health ministry?
Come on.
Where's the mothers of the church? Yeah. Let's talk about these things with our youth.
Absolutely. And it's going to take women like you and I getting together and collaborating and creating these things. For whatever reason, I think that culturally, America is a country that is so culturally diverse. There's no one singular shared cultural practice, right? So somebody's over here doing this, somebody's over here doing this. Within their cultures, they probably do have ceremonies, some of these cultures. But I know that our culture, as the African American community, we have lost our structure and leadership a lot. And so it's up to us that are now becoming more awake and conscious to start to repair, I think.
Right. And it's not witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft.
It's not witchcraft. And you will see our babies do so much better.
You will.
Honoring themselves. Oh my God. Like, even with my own child, I've done the best that I could. I only could give what I knew at that time. Even now, I think, gosh, if I had known this, I would go back and have her to do this, and this. I'm happy with where she is. But oh my God, if we could raise young ladies who were even put through a ceremony to the point where it's like, okay, I get it. This is my sacred space. Come on.
We can work on this because I feel that so much. So, oh God, this is just like, so you talked about the V steam, you talk about the yoni. So can you gave out a few benefits, but can you give some more influential benefits for someone having a V steam procedure?
Yeah, for sure. So there are a ton of benefits. I'm going to go through some specific ones or some of the more popular ones. Menstrual health support. Okay. It's going to promote blood circulation in your pelvic area. It's going to help with those menstrual cramps and the irregular cycles or periods that sometimes women are experiencing. Postpartum recovery is going to help to repair those tissues and sort of aid in some of that discomfort. Uterine health, it's going to remove that old blood lining, right, and promote circulation. And that's where a lot of these, the fibroids and the cysts and all of those sort of things that we're starting to see pop up more and more and more now that we were not seeing back in the day. That it's going to help with some of those. It's also going to help with relaxation and reducing your stress because, again, you're taking time out. This is a self care ritual. It's going to help with enhanced sexual health because it's going to increase the blood flow to that genital area. And then it's going to give you an overall cleansing and detoxification because, again, it's going to remove the blockages. So the heat goes up into the vagina or the womb area and it penetrates. It's got all the medicinal properties of the herbs in it, and it gets into your bloodstreams and starts to detox, to aid in digestion, to cleanse, to repair. So again, those are just some of the major benefits of a V steam or a Yoni steam.
All right, all right. So when we saying the set, there's a difference though. So can you give the difference between the V steam and womb healing? Because some people will hear that and they would say, "Oh, I just need the womb healing." But can you give the difference in those two mechanisms?
Yeah, so for me, a Yoni steam, womb healing is just a broader concept, right? There are many different ways that you can heal your womb, right? But Yoni steaming is a specific practice of sitting over the herbs, the heat from the herbs, and the herb that the heat penetrates your that vagina and begins to heal. Womb healing is the broader concept. So you've got other ways to do womb healing as well. I do essential oil baths, I do tea baths, I do journaling and grounding. These are all just specific modalities. But womb healing is the overall broader concept.
All right. And you said about, last weekend I attended a retreat. I'm all about the retreats. I'm like you
I
with the
like the
she
tea
patients.
too.
I love retreats.
I
And
love them.
I love retreats. So this retreat that I go to yearly, and that's on my regimen to go to yearly,
Yeah.
it's called Sweatpants and Chill. And one of the it was a natural herbalist there, and each one of us got a spiritual bath. Now, I'm saving that
I
for a
love that.
specific time that I really want to base, and I'm actually thinking about taking it to Paris with me.
I love that.
So yeah, I'm really actually thinking about taking it to Paris with me because we'll be there for the new year.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful.
for
Yes,
that portion of it, just taking it in a different, just a way out, different way. Because I'm just again, my mental is getting prepared for this,
absolutely.
how I want to flourish in the coming year, and
Absolutely.
yeah. So that's what I want to do with that. So yeah. So with
That's awesome. Yeah, I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, so that's my plan. So, as we talk about certifications and stuff like that, so I'm going to put your website up. And
Thank
can you
you.
tell how one can become certified in this and what kind of stuff you got going on? Because you not only do this, but you also does skincare, making your own skincare line.
Yeah,
So,
so in terms of getting certified as a Yoni Steam practitioner or B Steam practitioner, I've got 4 different certifications. The first one is just the basic, and you can find that on my website. And it's just the basic. It's just going to teach you about some basic herbs and how you can do this at home, and how you can just begin to start the process of healing your womb and all the different things that go along with this. The next one is a Yoni Steam practitioner. It's an advanced practitioner where now you learn how to open a Yoni Steam business. I have over 200 practitioners that have brick and mortars, and you can find a directory on my website. And they actually do this for a living. They educate clients. They give the steaming service, the whole nine. Then we have Yoni steaming, and you mentioned men earlier, but the process of Yoni steaming is where we steam the men's anal canal as well as their penile canal. And we use herbs for that, the specific herbs for that. And so you get certified as a Yoni steam practitioner. And then I have a Yoni steam instructor certification where you learn how now to become an instructor and to instruct other practitioners and certify other practitioners as well.
Right.
So on Natural Skincare Chick, the website, we have over 25 different online self-paced courses where you learn how to make your own skincare products, you learn how to make herbal medicine. Everything that I have learned over these last decade, I have poured into this website.
See, I'm telling you, you better go grab it because there's some real good information on there. Because
Thank you.
and because even with me taking a naturopathy class as well too, um, I've known about different flowers. So with teas and different things
Yeah.
like that. So like botch flowers, there's certain flowers that if you put can help with your emotions. And these, like, what you really do is a consultation. You would do the consultation and see, teacher, I've been instructed.
Love it.
I
Yes.
love it. And I'm giving out the skills. So what
Yes.
happens is a person will come, you will give out, like what's the problems going on. But then here I can use my other realm of the mind body consultation, like how long has this been going on? Because this
Yes.
can maybe a sign of menopause coming on. So what we can do is there's certain area of herbs that help with those certain conditions of menopause. I mean,
Yes.
again, night sweats, this during the day. When in the most of the time of the day does this happen? So see, I got my whole
Oh
consultation
yeah.
pack
Oh
ready.
yeah. You
Got my
ready.
whole consultation pack
He's
ready.
ready.
And black cohosh can help with those hot flashes.
Yeah.
So I'm giving out some free. You just got something free for you to
Come
learn
on.
tonight.
I love it. I love it.
So Misty, I want to say thank you so much. I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
for coming on tonight, and we are going to collaborate this thing.
I would love that. Yes.
Definitely want to. So, is there anything else that you would like? Just let me always leave the show with asking the guest a question. For that woman who may be feeling a little bit of emotional about her past, you know, relationships or whatever emotionally, physically, if something traumatic has happened in that sacred
Yeah.
space, what would we need? What would we need in this womb healing process?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend a V-steam, especially for a traumatic situation that's occurred in your most sacred space. You want to get some mugwort, lavender, rose, mistletoe, yarrow. These are just some of the herbs, and these are herbs that are easy to get. They're not like these herbs can be found, some of them in the grocery store. But definitely Amazon is there. Make sure that you're purchasing organic herbs. And if you don't want to go out and do a V stain with a trained practitioner, do this at home. Just be careful. Make sure that you don't burn yourself. Sit over the steam. Allow that steam to penetrate that area. Connect with your most sacred space. Connect with your higher self. Do some journaling. Do a meditation during that time.
All right. So you have heard it, everyone. And I'm going to put up her information again. And I want you to go follow her. I want you to go take some courses because hey, it's a lot of this can go around to help. We got a whole world full of people out here that need this information. So me and her just can't do it alone. We need some more troopers. We need some more wellness healers, as we can say. We need more of those here. So Misty, again, I want to say thank you so much for coming on tonight and just sharing your wisdom. And I look forward of collaborating with you. And for the audience, thank you guys for tuning in. I want you to share this video. And for those who catching the replay, I want you to really think about that. You're sacred. And for my females, I want you to think about this sacred healing. This is a sacred space. It's a space that we give life. And we have to be very intentional how we store and keep our sacred space. So I'm telling you that because I love you. You know, we always say the mantra here. Every week we have this mantra that it says, you know, if you don't know that you or feel like you love, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. Until next week, I'm your host, Michelle Bowden Hammond. Take care.